qualified health clinic located in the Tenderloin, part of San Francisco, and we have been in service for the past 35 years. We're honored to be part of this year's National Trans Visibility March. Well, what is the National Visibility Trans March? The National Trans Visibility March is an organization advocating for the visibility, equality, and protection for all transgender, gender nonconforming, and non-binary people across the United States. NTVM each year mobilizes hundreds, thousands of who march the streets and online to reaffirm that trans rights are human rights and call for the abolition of the anti-LGBTQ plus laws. For this year, the National Visibility Trans March has ignited the NTVM Action Caravan. The Action Caravan will crisscross the country, highlighting and giving visibility to the work and action that is being done in communities by and for trans and non-binary individuals and allies in organizations. The Action Caravan will travel to 11 cities leading up to the march starting August 23rd. In each city, the National Transgender Visibility March and our presenting sponsor, TD Bank, will host and broadcast live lunch chats like this one with thought leaders in each city, and then host on-ground event that will broadcast live via Facebook. These events are meant to inspire you, to give you new ideas and tips, and to connect you with leaders across the country. And for the main event, the NVTM, all these acronyms, this year will be held in Los Angeles. More than ever, it is the time for transgender and non-binary community to turn visibility into action. With the recent Supreme Court reversal of Roe versus Wade, and with many states enacting anti-transgender laws, the time is now to march and have our voices heard. The theme for the march is Visibility Equals Action. The purpose is to spotlight the great work and actions that are taking place across the country on behalf of the trans and non-binary community. That means action in those areas are important to the safety and success of the trans and non-binary community, like financial equity, housing, human rights, safety, fair laws, and employment. All this will be happening at West Hollywood between October 31st to November 5th. Well, before we go into our meat of the hour, I'd like to introduce to you a PSA that we produce here at San Francisco Community Health Center to help promote some of our programs and our services to the community. Here it is.
For so many years, African American people had not had a seat at the table, especially African American transgender women. Sometimes people miss the mark when it comes to an all-inclusive agency. But here at San Francisco Community Health, we get it. We understand the assignment. That is one of the ingredients that make our recipe great. I want to see trans women sitting at every table there is created in the world.
That was our special commercial that we brought out during last year during the pandemic to promote our trans services and all our services here at the agency. So it was a big project, but it really reached a lot of folks. So San Francisco is a progressive city and celebrates its diversity in its unique ways. Many trans folks come to San Francisco because here they can be who they are and express their true authentic selves. And you can get your gender affirming surgeries easily here in San Francisco. Gender Health SF is a transgender and gender diverse, culturally congruent, peer-based harm reduction program of the San Francisco Department of Public Health. The program was established in April 2013 to provide access to gender affirming surgeries and related education and navigational services to transgender, non-binary, and gender expansive adults, emphasizing support for uninsured, underinsured, and publicly insured residents of San Francisco. Gender Health SF is a team of peer navigators, public health advocates, mental health, and medical providers committed to the highest quality patient-centered, gender-affirming care available. Gender Health SF is part of San Francisco's public health department and works closely with primary care providers and care teams to help transgender folks reach their surgical goals. Peer-led navigational services are also available to refer clients. Behind the success of Gender Health SF is someone who I knew since she was in her teens. Prior to her current position, she was the interim director for UCSF's Center of Excellence for Transgender Health, or known as COE, overseeing its national capacity building and technical assistant portfolios and priorities, and to increase access to comprehensive, effective, and affirming health care services for trans and non-binary communities. She came to serve trans and non-binary individuals in public health by working in HIV prevention, research, program management, and community planning with the San Francisco Department of Public Health Population Health Division, with the Community Health Equity and Promotional Branch for over 15 years. She has been doing community work since her teens, and now she's overseeing one of the most successful programs, trans programs, that really create positive impact and results for many transgender folks here in San Francisco. Please welcome the Executive Director of Gender Health SF, Jenna Rapues.
Hi, hello.
How are you doing, Jenna?
It's great to be here, Nikki. It's wonderful to be in this space with you. Thank you so much for having me. Just what a delight to be in this presence and just really kind of hear you present and talk about my bio. One of the things that I want to kind of embody as I'm talking to you today is this famous quote by Miss Major: "Still fucking here," right? After all 15, 20 years of the work that we've been doing, so much more important now that we've made so much progress in our work in community to lead and deliver and really empower our community to live resilient, long lives, but so much more work ahead of us. And so just really that is something that I'm kind of embodying today.
Well said. Well said. Well, I just want to launch into it because I think it's so important for our folks out there who's watching us to know more about this amazing program that we have here in San Francisco called Gender Health SF. So, from what I have mentioned also, so can you tell us a little bit more that maybe I missed about Gender Health SF?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, you already mentioned it around kind of the work that we've been doing, being part of the, Department of Public Health, really particularly targeting our most marginalized trans and non-binary communities to live authentic, resilient lives. And so one of the other unique things I really want to share and highlight about our work at Gender Health SF is that we were the first in the country to develop a program such as ours to really serve transgender public health populations. And so when we first started, it was at a time when we first started inserting folks who would never imagine at the time, 10 years ago, that surgery access or addressing what we call gender dysphoria would be something that would be true and accessible to them. So now we were the first in the country in collaboration actually with community stakeholders to really respond to the needs of the community. Also, too, want to highlight that it was a time, the program was developed at a time around HIV, when we all know that HIV, particularly in San Francisco and other parts of metropolitan areas, trans folks, and particularly Black and brown trans women, have been at greatest risk for HIV. And so, many programs have sprung up around addressing some of the disparities and health outcomes that are experienced by our most at-risk populations. But really, truly, it's kind of a 180 or 360, as you would call it, in being able to look at trans people and trans lives as not just one aspect of what they're dealing with and with their healthcare, but more kind of this idea of whole person care and how we address not just HIV, but access to care, access to gender affirming care, address some of the barriers that have existed and persisted through the many years that we've really fought for transgender rights. And so really I'm just really grateful to have a program such as mine and really be a leader that is that does value peer leadership, a peer model, workforce development for trans folks, and really centering the needs of our most marginalized trans and non-binary communities.
Wow, that's really a lot, but very well said. Do you think, I mean, I'm sure having Gender Health SF here in San Francisco, it has its own significant contribution to San Francisco as a city. What do you think are those contribution or, a main contribution to San Francisco?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of things I really want to spotlight. Like I mentioned earlier, where we came from as a program at the health department. As I mentioned earlier, we were born not because you know all of a sudden the department wanted to develop a program such as ours to address gender dysphoria for trans folks. It was because basically many of the trans folks in San Francisco have organized together in really advocating for a program such as ours, and that goes back into the roots of San Francisco, which is rooted in community advocacy, community grassroots organizations that have really challenged and fought for transgender rights. And so I think that's one of the greatest assets of the city. And I think it continues to be the greatest assets when we think about the current organizations such as Trans Tribe or SF Community Health Center and many other trans serving organizations that exist in San Francisco. Similarly, too, I think, with that in mind, San Francisco has been seen as a safe haven per se, or a safe place for trans people to come, not just to exist and live, but also just to thrive with the wealth of support and resources available to them. And again, one such as ours at Gender Health SF, which provides surgery access, right? And so that is a unique thing, and really special that San Francisco has and offers for its residents, and is perceived as being the leading edge in again transgender rights, community organizing, healthcare access, and really rooted in the wisdom and the truth of trans folks.
Wonderful. And I do remember that we both our programs embarked on, how do we tell the stories of our clients, and we both did access the Digital Story Center of Berkeley. And I believe that you have a good collection of digital stories from your clients giving their testimony or giving their story about their experience with, Gender Health SF. I asked you to bring one. I hope you were able to bring one story for us.
Absolutely, yeah. So I did share one, and one special one that really resonated with me, at least, is thinking about like how you introduced my bio, being someone who grew up in the Bay Area as a young queer trans individual, trying to find ways and supports and just being and whatnot to live my authentic self. And so that individual is Isaiah, which we can share with you. I do want to share that, Isaiah is one of our younger folks who've accessed services at Gender Health SF, identifies as a Black trans man, Black trans male, really had struggles and experiences and challenges growing up around family support. And that really speaks to the current experiences that many of our trans youth experience, and so much more around family support generally for trans folks who are seeking gender affirming surgeries, and contributes to the other side of the current discourse happening right now around transgender youth. And so important just to have visibility in how, such a simple thing such as access to gender affirming care does have lifelong lasting impact on the way in which one navigates the world, right? Whether it be, navigating and feeling comfortable, addressing kind of the discomforts that gender dysphoria, gives you, that trans folks often experience, right? When your body is not aligned to your identity, your gender identity. And so Isaiah really embodies that. Also really embodies the idea of resilience, despite all the challenges that a trans person may experience around, their around supports and family. And so I'm really just excited to share Isaiah's story, and I think many folks will identify with his story.
Great. Thanks so much. Let's watch the story.
Born January 5th, 2001, to 16-year-old second-time mother, LaShonda Heron. I was here, her baby girl, honesty, and I took the world for storm. Because at the ultrasound appointment, they said I was a boy. What a mix-up. All the people who helped raise me spent a lot of time teaching me how to be a young woman. Once my great-grandmother passed away, I moved in with my great-aunt, who is now my adopted mother. When I was 6, she caught me kissing a girl. After this, my childhood was filled with Bible scriptures and whoopings for doing what I felt was comfortable for me. I felt like who I was wrong. In the 4th grade, my biological mother was murdered. I became the strong one for my siblings. I couldn't deal with the death of my mother. I couldn't deal with being inappropriately touched by my older cousins, male and female. I was a silent, broken, lonely child, and no one could even tell. In the 9th grade is when I started putting clothes in my backpack to change at school. I wasn't suicidal anymore. I thought of myself as a stud, even though I was uncomfortable with the thought of being female. In my last year of high school, I discovered Jason Ditto, the first ever trans man I've ever seen. Soon after, I started to do research and found out that I wasn't gay, I was just trans. June 17, 2019, I started testosterone. Now here I am 2 years down the line, and I can finally tell you who I am. I am Isaiah James Carter, a 20-year-old business owner. I love making music, recording videos, and going to church and spending time with my girlfriend. I found such happiness and wholeness becoming who I am, so much so, even when I am misgendered, I am not offended. I understand that they are not where I am, and I will not pause my life waiting for them to catch up. I'll be where I'm meant to be with open arms.
Wow, Jenna, that was a great story. Oh my God, I mean, I think these are so strong testimonials of clients who really, it's a very healthy and very allowing, opportunity for people to really express what they go through life, and it's so validating.
Absolutely. And we're really lucky to be able to serve our patients and our clients at Gender Health SF, and very privileged to support and care for Isaiah.
Yeah. And as you know, during the pandemic, we all went virtual. And, we had to find ways on how to promote our programs and how to communicate to our constituents out there, our clients, our supporters, our allies, that we're still going on, even when the pandemic is giving us a hard time, So, and I'm so happy that your office was able to produce a PSA, because it is so necessary for folks to know about your office, the services that you provide. And here's your PSA. It really is a good PSA, and it has subtitles too. Amazing. So.
Fantastic.
Gender Health SF is your partner in accessing quality, gender-affirming healthcare. We're peer-led, we value compassion and community investment, and provide care regardless of immigration status or income. We understand that navigating gender-affirming health services is challenging, so we help you at every step to make sure accessing surgery is as easy as possible, including surgery-related education, help selecting and working with your covered surgeons, making sure that all your approvals and documents stay up to date, advocating for your needs and rights as a patient, and care coordination. We work confidentially and are here to make sure that you are ready and well supported for success. To get referred to our program, talk to your primary care provider. They will help you acquire a pre-surgical assessment, which includes 1 to 2 letters from a mental health provider. Once referred to our program, you'll be connected to one of our world-class peer navigators. Our navigators are here to be your personal point of contact. They are trauma-informed, personable, and work with you to make sure that you are empowered to make the important decisions for your surgery. Y hablamos español. Due to COVID-19, all of our navigation services are also accessible remotely. We are available by phone, email, and through video telehealth. We're also here to provide support to our greater online community, including hosting community panels from previous patients, surgeon Q&As, health and wellness workshops, and much, much more. To qualify for the program, you must be a resident of San Francisco, 18 years of age or older, and enrolled or covered by Medi-Cal, Medicare, San Francisco Managed Medi-Cal Plan, Anthem Managed Medi-Cal Plan, Healthy Workers, Healthy Families, or Healthy San Francisco. So come check us out. To learn more, please check out our website at www.sfdph.org/genderhealthsf.
Wow, really happy to share with you all our PSA from Gender Health SF. I hope you really appreciated that. And please do let folks know locally who are interested in our program about our resources. So now we're going to change gears a little bit, and I want to share with you all that I have the honor and the privilege to introduce to you and get to know you, get to share with you all a bit about our host, Nicky Calma. Many of you may not know that Nicky Calma has been instrumental in me being who I am today, becoming the trans person and being at the place where I am. I do recall one time that when I was a young queer trans person in San Francisco at the age of 19, being lost and seeking support and community connection, I went to a program called Aqua, which she once was the program manager for, and so just really happy and really been my privilege to be able to introduce and interview Nicky. So with that, Nicky, will you join me?
Thanks. Thank you, Jenna. Oh my God. So it's like this is intergenerational.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my
I
gosh.
think Jenna is being modest because she was really one of our success stories here at the agency when we were API Wellness Center at that time, where she started out with our youth program, and through there she kind of like really navigated herself to doing some amazing community work, and which led her to where she is right now. So.
Absolutely, and really, what an impact you've had on my life and many others, Nicky. That since you've been really involved in community work, advocacy work, and really changing and impacting many trans folks in San Francisco.
I'm glad I was able to be that for you. So
absolutely. I do want to talk a little bit more about kind of our city, and have a few questions for you. That San Francisco has been a safe haven for many trans people here and folks who move here to seek safety. We all know that there's many programs for trans folks as well, and a variety of opportunities that we provide in the city for trans and non-binary folks to thrive. And one of the ways in which we think about that is also prioritizing safety and wellness for trans folks. Now that we're in a different time and era, that trans visibility and trans rights have made some progress over the past years. And how do we continue to build upon that so that we continue to build and improve the quality of trans lives? And over the years, one program that I have been following and tracking that I know that you have actually been instrumental in leading is one successful program called Trans Thrive SF Community Health Center, a wraparound drop-in center for San Francisco that offers a variety of different services such as case management, HIV services, employment workshops, and a health clinic for trans and non-binary people that provides gender-affirming care.
Mhm.
And I know that you're the supervisor. And so I want to ask you a couple of questions, given your role and what you've seen and witnessed and what have you contributed over the past several years. So tell us a little bit more about Trans Thrive, Nicky, if you have a moment.
Sure. Well, transfer has a very long, deep history. It started out as a research program with UCSF actually, and they did 4 years of the research, and in the fifth year, they decided to stop the research. And what came out of that was that there was a drop-in that was created in order to be able to recruit participants. And when that 1 year was still available, the Department of Public Health told us like, hey, do you all want to continue this? And at that time, it was very, very visible, and it was already felt that there is a need for safe spaces for our community to be at. There were no spaces for us. Like I remember when I was young, we would either meet at the bars, and then after the bars, we would go out in the streets, and then here comes the police who would sweep all of us and we'd all be booked in jail for the weekend. And that was where our support group was. We would talk each other there. So when the drop-in, when it was offered to us to continue the drop-in, we did take that opportunity. So you said it, the magic words there were it's wraparound drop-in center. And what it is basically is that it is a place where trans folks and gender non-conforming, non-binary folks can come and really use it as a kind of like a stepping stone for folks to reignite or kind of like reset where they're at. A lot of folks who come to San Francisco usually are thinking that this is the mecca for transgender folks because you can get your surgery, you can get your name and gender change, you can get a lot of services. But a lot of folks don't understand it. It is expensive to live here in San Francisco, and it takes a process in order to be housed here in San Francisco. So we thought of like the drop-in could be that bridge that we provide all this important services, such as case management, to help folks who come here to San Francisco and really have a place where, in the drop-in, we have a computer lounge, a computer lab, we have a clothing closet, we have a lounge where people can just relax and take a break from the hustle and bustle that's going on out there, for our community. And it's been around for quite some time now. And I do believe that, an average, since we've been around for almost 15 years actually now, and we're celebrating our 15th year anniversary. In each of those years, we probably have served between around 400 to 700 trans folks that walk through our portals and who access services ranging from case management to HIV testing, get health care, even just like mental health also. We know how important it is for trans folks to get mental health services and all this stuff. And it continues to really become a very kind of like a permanent fixture here in San Francisco because, again, there's not a lot of spaces for trans folks to come around and just feel safe, and kind of like thrive in their wellness, because the streets are a little dangerous out there, so hopefully that's kind of like a snapshot of what the drop-in center, which is called Trans Thrive, is all about.
Absolutely fantastic, and thank you so much for sharing that. And so much value in really providing wraparound, comprehensive, whole person care services for our community members. Because as we talked about earlier, it's not just one thing that we're needing, but a bunch of different life challenges or barriers to like really allowing us to live whole, fulfilling lives and to thrive, right?
Mm-hmm.
One thing I wanted to ask you too is what approaches does Trans Thrive implement when working with clients, or what is key to make sure that you're meeting successes in delivering care for trans folks at Trans Thrive?
Well, that's really a great question, Jenna, because one thing that we have realized all throughout this year's running Trans Thrive is that it's so important for trans folks, when they come to a space that they can see themselves, and what I mean by that is that whoever is working there, whoever is running the place, or whoever is just like, visible there, look like them, speak like them, think like them,
yeah.
And so our motto, which I'm sure other folks have used it also, it's a drop-in center by and for the trans community,
Yeah.
So that's what we go by. And then at the same time, we truly understand that our approach is really more of like a client-centered approach. We want to make sure that it's the person who's in front of us that we're talking with or we're working with, is that they're the center of what our work is, And also, one thing that's so important, a lot of our folks in our community has really went through some really heavy hitting trauma in their lives,
Yeah.
So we do a client, a trauma centered approach, basically, so make sure that we are We are addressing, the whole person with what they came with, making sure that we let them speak, we let them talk about their experiences, we let them talk about what they're feeling, not us imposing on them, more of like making sure that when we do assessments is that they're able to express themselves freely, so, and that makes us a good recipe for us to really reach to make sure that we know where to refer the client or what kind of resources can we give the client. And basically, our client is comes first.
Fantastic. And what a tremendous accomplishment over 15 years. Just really, you should be really proud of yourself and really, congratulate you for the impact you've had on many folks in San Francisco. Just curious now that, it's about 15 years in existence as a program, what's exciting or new for TransThrive, or what is the next phase and next chapter of TransThrive?
Well, we, the only way to go is grow, basically, grow, and at the same time address the needs of the community as you grow. A lot has changed, in the past years, but hopefully by next year we'll be moving to our own space, which is just not too far away from here at our 730 Polk Street location. But this space is going to be more of like us, I mean, it's for the community. We'd like it to make it a hub for trans community, for the trans community to come together, use it as a space to meet or to, to have meetings or to organize or to even just get mobilized, and we chose a very nice space that will be very neutral. We love the transgender district, we love the tenderloin, but I think it's also nice to have other options where trans folks can go and really thrive. And yeah, so those are just a few things. We have more coming up, but I kind of like just want to save it once it's already ready to roll out. So
Absolutely. And we're really excited for that. And just really, I think just one thing that really resonates when I am hearing you is just this idea of for us, by us, right? So really it's for by community, and that just really is truly special. That really makes services, particularly for trans folks, so meaningful.
yeah.
So now we're going to switch gears a little bit. I know that your TransThrive has also created many digital stories in the past, including during the time when COVID happened, really targeting trans folks, when many community members were feeling isolated and lost, and even kind of dealing with the impact or understanding of how to take in the impacts of COVID, right? And so I want to invite you to see if you can share with us a digital story that TransThrive has created, and just wanted to see if you can maybe speak one that you're going to be sharing with us today.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you. Right before the pandemic and the stay in order happened, we were doing our leadership academy, our trans leadership academy, and it was the last cohort before the pandemic happened, last cohort for the digital story. And we were addressing safety and wellness. That was the topic of this digital set of digital stories. And I'd like to share to you a story by Eusenio. Eusenio is someone who is not a stranger here in San Francisco. He has worked in different sectors of the city government, and at the same time he's a great trainer, capacity building person, and also just a wonderful person. However, he had so many challenges because, someone who is had some health issues, and at the same time, really, even though we may be people look up to us and everything, we have our set of issues and also problems. So Ysenio has been dealing with homelessness, and he was generous enough to share his story through this digital story. So here it is.
Wonderful. Thank you.
I have never owned an umbrella. I prefer to let the rain wash over me, soak me, drench me. Rain and ocean waves have always represented God speaking to me, reaching out to me, telling me I am safe, I am still beloved. No matter what happens, I am still his confidant, and he is still mine. When the childhood violence, rape, and incest was overbearing, I would escape to the water crashing into the rocks that formed the shores of the island I grew up on. They, the waves, were God's blessings. At the water is where it became clear to me that I was different. Different for being trans, a Black Latino, smart, one of the first born in the United States, curious, poor, for refusing to accept the status quo. Different, but in God's heart, still valuable. Still valuable when, during my last year of high school, I was homeless. Over the years, I eagerly shared so many wonderful adventures with God during my visits to the beaches or when the rain fell. He was the patient parent listening to the same story over and over, each time ready with a smile of pride and understanding. God is listening now, as at almost 60 years old, I find myself homeless again. Other people's bad decisions resulted in my middle-class life being shattered. I lost my job, my home, and my health. I live in my car. Making it through another day with little to no violence, with manageable pain, and with at least one meal is the exception rather than the norm. And yet, when I hunker down at night in the parking lot of the supermarket near the beach, I hear the waves and know God is speaking to me again. When I walk along the shore to try to work out the painful kinks from sleeping upright all night, God rushes up to meet me where the sand and water kiss. Sometimes I go to the rocks and wait for God to remind me that I've been through this before and survived, and even thrived. I wait for my heart and head to calm down enough to remember that I am resilient, that I do indeed contain multitudes, and that God has always been with me, always ready to have the conversations. I remember that I am loved not only in spite of being different, but because I am different. The conversations continue.
Thank you so much. That was a very moving, and yes, you're saying, you always steal my heart because you're such a great storyteller. And thank you so much for sharing your story to the world. Well, I'd like to welcome each and every one of you back. We hope that we were able to showcase some amazing trans programming that is happening here in San Francisco. And I want to ensure you that there are great organizations and programs that support the transgender community here in San Francisco. I would like to thank a few individuals who have made today's broadcast possible. A big thank you to Mark Corman, who's in charge of the National Visibility Trans March. Thank you so much, Mark. Also, for one of our guests, Jenna Rapues of Gender Health SF. And I also would like to thank Troy Espera from our communications department for helping us put this broadcast together. A big thank you also for our community partners. They're the folks who support events like this. Trans March San Francisco, thank you so much. And the San Francisco AIDS Foundation, and also for the TD Bank for supporting the entire project of the caravan. I want to let you know that the next caravan will be on October 27. It will be coming from Jacksonville, Florida, and it will be presented by the Unspoken Treasure Society. For more information, please check out their website at www.unspokensociety.org. National Visibility Trans March this year will be held in Los Angeles. It is a 5-day event, and for more information, please visit the nationaltransvisibilitymarch.org. We would like to leave you with an amazing music video from one of our star performers from the Bay Area. Her name is Pearl Tees. Pearl Tees started out her career in doing mental health work and has spun into one of this, glam queen who does a good cause. So without further ado, please enjoy this wonderful video to close up our presentation by Pearl Tees. Thank you. This is Tita Aida signing off.
You better work it, girl. Do your thing on the runway. Work, you better work it, girl. Wet your lips and make love to the camera. Work, turn to the left, work, turn to the right. Work, Sashay, Shantae. Turn to the left, turn to the right, sashay. Sashay,